Can I skip therapy and just do energy healing? You probably can at some level. However, and this is a big however, I really like to see my clients who have fairly significant stories that need to evolve, perhaps difficult childhood stories, perhaps the ending of a marriage that was really toxic and difficult, or long time issues in relationships, or big patterns that are costing them their equanimity and their happiness. Sometimes people are trying to avoid that therapeutic process because they don't want to feel those feelings. And I really understand that. Not everybody, wakes up every day and says, I got some bad stuff I got to feel, and today's the day, right? We don't do that. We don't want to feel uncomfortable. And yet, sometimes to get freed and to get clear enough to let go of something, we need that context and we need that emotional catharsis that comes when we process those emotions. I really like to see those people have the context and the support of the therapeutic container, a good licensed therapist, to help get the context, to help understand the dynamics, and to process that emotional material. So, EHI practitioners are trained to suggest therapy to clients who may enter their practice, either looking to solve without that therapeutic context or looking to avoid that therapeutic experience, but who have significant, perhaps trauma or emotional issues that are holding them back. The other thing to understand is that energy practitioners are not therapists. Unless an energy practitioner has been trained in therapeutic process, they don't belong in that seat. There is a container that gets created for therapeutic process that is very important to have. And if an energy healer is sitting in the role of therapist without the training for how to manage perhaps an activation of some kind, it can be really damaging and re-traumatizing. So we advocate that that not happen. We really like to work in collaboration with therapists. EHI practitioners meet quite regularly, depending on their clients' interests, with therapists to move the patient's process forward. For example, a client may have moved through a fairly significant experience of processing a relationship with a parent, or the death of someone they were close to, or the dissolution of a marriage. And they may be really ready to do some powerful release work of the energy of that relationship with that person. And having some context around that dissolution or that ending or that traumatic relationship with the parent or whatever can be really useful to the clearing process. Practitioners do not need to rehash story. They need to understand energy patterns and the players who activate those patterns. So if, for example, you grew up in an angry household with a mother who yelled at a lot, and then you married someone who yelled a lot because you were used to that, and then you realize, wow, this really isn't how I want to live my life, and you went into therapy to work that through, an energy healer will work with the way, releasing the energy of the way it makes you feel when someone is yelling, the way it makes you feel when you are up against that kind of behavior. And they'll clear the sort of markers in your field that attracts those kind of people to you, so that your mother and your ex-husband or ex-wife, whoever, are no longer the resonant energies in your field that attract other similar people to you. So can you avoid therapy and do energy work instead? Sure, at some level. But when you have the context and you have catharsis of knowing I've done that work, now it's just time to move on. That clearing work goes much more rapidly. Your attachment to the story is much less intense. You move forward into new possibilities.